Hey everyone, welcome to this lesson. I'm Dr. Madhuri Goswami. Dear students, we have been dealing with the translation in English. In the first part of this lesson, I gave you some tips for translation. That was on the outset that we talked about what are the things which you should keep in your mind while translating. In this journey, we felt that somehow we need to know about the subject-verb agreement. So, in the part 2 of this series, we discussed 6 important rules of subject-verb agreement. Now, in this lesson, we will take up the next 6 important rules of subject-verb agreement. So, let's get started. Let's quickly revise the rules for the subject-verb agreement in case of the indefinite pronouns, because this is the area in which most of the students are confused and they commit mistakes unintentionally. So, for the indefinite pronouns as subjects, we can say that singular indefinite pronoun subjects take singular verbs. For example, each does a good deal of work around the office. The plural indefinite pronoun subjects take plural verbs. For example, both do a good deal of work around the office. Dear students, if you wish, you can note down singular indefinite pronoun each, either, neither, one, no one, nobody, nothing, anyone, anybody, anything, someone, somebody, something, everyone, everybody, and everything. Whereas some examples of plural indefinite pronouns are several, few, both, many. The third thing is some indefinite pronouns may be either singular or plural. With uncountable, use singular, and with countable, use plural. As we have seen the examples, some of the beads are missing. Some of the sugar is diluted. Let's begin with the rule number 7. But before that, I would like to draw your attention toward the rule number 5. Did you remember that we learned in the rule number 5 that the subjects joined by conjunction and are plural and they take up the plural verb form. But at the same time, the subjects joined by or nor take a verb that agrees with the last subject. If it's plural, then the verb will be in the plural form. If it's singular, then the verb will be singular. Why am I reminding you about this? Because now this rule number 7 indicates that phrases such as together with, as well as, and along with are not the same as the conjunction and. I'm just trying to give you the contrast so that you can remember well. Now, please listen carefully. Phrases such as together with, as well as, and along with will modify the earlier word in the subject of the sentence. But it does not compound the subjects as the word and would do. Well, enough of the theory. Now let's take up the example of a sentence. The mayor as well as his brothers is going to prison. Does it look odd to you? But this is the correct one. The phrase as well as is used here in this sentence, and there are 2 subjects which have been used in this sentence. So the first word of the sentence is the mayor. So the verb will be governed by this word. So there will be agreement between this word and the verb. As the mayor is a singular subject, so we have used the singular verb form. The mayor as well as his brothers is going to prison. What if we use the conjunction and to make these 2 words, the mayor and his brothers, as the compound subject? The mayor and his brothers are going to prison. And simply this compound subject is treated plural because it's connected with the conjunction word and, so here it becomes plural and it will take up the plural verb form, that's are in this case. Dear students, there's a suggestion. You should note down all these rules by pausing the video so that it will be easier for you to revise them later on. Well, now let me ask you something. There's a sentence given over here on this slide. Can you tell me what is the subject in this sentence? I'll read the sentence for you. There are two reasons for this. Try to identify the subject of this sentence. Take your time and just answer. Well, most of the students think that the word there is the subject. Did you know there and here are never subjects? In sentences that begin with these words, the subject is usually found later on in the sentence. And these subjects are known as the inverted subjects. So, there is not the subject of this sentence. Two reasons. The phrase two reasons is the subject of this sentence. So, the verb will agree with the subject as it's plural here in this sentence. So, the verb are is used. The sentence is, there are two reasons for this. So, here comes the rule number 8. We have already understood it with the example. Let's take up some more examples. There were 5 books on the shelf. The verb were agrees with the subject, books. The last example on this slide is, there is no reason for this. No reason, singular, so the verb is also singular. Dear students, this rule number 9 is again tells us about two important things. There are some words that end in s and appear to be plural, but are really singular and require singular verbs. The best way to learn a theory is to practice it. So let's see this rule, let's understand this rule practically as it's used in this sentence. The news from the front is bad. The word news, though it sounds plural, but it's singular. Likewise, mathematics, measles, these words they seem plural, but they are singular. Mathematics is an easy subject for some people. We won't say mathematics are, rather we would say mathematics is. But on the other hand, some words ending in s refer to a single thing, but are nonetheless plural and require a plural verb. For example, my assets were wiped out in the depression. Here the word assets, it refers to a single thing, but it takes up a plural verb. Another example, the average worker's earnings have gone up dramatically. Now here comes the sentence example that might be used incorrectly by many people. That is, our thanks go to the workers who supported the union. The word thanks, it refers to a single thing, but it's treated as plural, and that's why it takes up the plural verb, go. Now let's proceed further and let's talk about the fractional expressions such as half of, a part of, a percentage of, a majority of. These are called fractional expressions. Sometimes they are singular and sometimes plural, depending on the meaning. Do you remember? We talked something like this in the previous lesson also. Because the same is true, of course, when all, any, more, most, and some act as subjects. Do you remember the examples of some of the beads are missing and some of the sugar is diluted? Let's look at this example. Some of the voters are still angry. Just notice the underlined word are. As the voters or some of the voters are countable, so we will use here plural verb form. But in the next sentence, a large percentage of the older population is voting against her. Notice the underlined word here is. So when we say a large percentage or a large part or a majority of something, then we use the singular verb form. Let's have some more examples. 2/5 of the troops were lost in the battle. The second, 2/5 of the vineyard was destroyed by fire. Here, the same fractional expression has been used, 2/5, but notice the difference between troops and vineyard. Troops is plural, so it takes the plural verb. Vineyard is a singular, so it takes the singular verb. Likewise, in the third sentence, 40% of the students are in favor of changing the policy. Students, so plural. 40% of the student body is in the favor of changing the policy. But if we talk about student body as a unit, then we use the singular verb form. Likewise, sums and products of mathematical processes are expressed as singular and require singular verbs. For example, 2 and 2 is 4. 4 times 4 divided by 2 is 8. In these examples, we have the sum and products of mathematical processes. Generally, they take the singular verb. Likewise, the collective nouns may be singular or plural depending on meaning. There is a very popular example regarding this rule. The jury has awarded custody to the grandmother. As all the members of jury agree on one point, so we consider it as a singular and we use the singular verb form. So the jury has awarded custody to the grandmother. But if suppose the jury members are arguing or they don't agree at one point, then we say the jury members have been arguing for 5 days. In this example, the jury members are acting as 12 individuals. Therefore, the verb is plural. So when the collective noun is considered as a unit, we use the singular verb. And when it's considered as separate unit, then we use the plural verb. Collective nouns may be singular or plural, depending on their use in the sentence. The orchestra is playing a hit song. In this sentence, orchestra is considered as one unit, so singular verb. The orchestra were asked to give their musical backgrounds. In this sentence, orchestra is considered as separate units, therefore the use of plural verb. Now this is the final rule of this lesson, rule number 12. As per this rule, words such as glasses, pants and scissors are regarded as plural and require plural verbs unless they are preceded the phrase pair of, in which case the word pair becomes the subject. Please notice the highlighted words on the screen. My glasses were on the bed. Glasses are considered as plural, so we will use the plural verb form because this word is regarded as plural. In the next example, my pants were stitched by that tailor. But if these words are preceded by the phrase the pair of, in that case they becomes the singular. For example, the last sentence on the screen, a pair of plaid trousers is in the closet. In this sentence, a pair becomes the subject and it's singular, so we will use the singular verb. So dear students, we have studied 12 important rules of subject-verb agreement in these 2 lessons. I hope you have understood it well. If not, or if there is any doubt or any query, you can ask in the comment section. Please ask there. I would be happy to answer. Thank you for joining. Happy learning.